Welcome back to the Blue Review. Sorry I'm at home today. I got a lot going on, but Clinton Yates, Greg Bergman, what's going on? Blue Review is, as always, presented by the Los Angeles International Airport, where changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. Big weekend for the Dodgers. They play the Padres in San Diego, and I kind of want to know, who is this more important for, Clinton?
Quick thing to note, because this is sort of a mega series, if you will, because they got 3 in San Diego, a quick 3-game set in the middle for the Dodgers, and then San Diego comes back to LA. So that's also something to keep in mind here when you think about what's going on. It's not just one at a time. This is kind of a larger thing. That said, it's got to be the Dodgers, and I don't think it's particularly close for one reason. Look at what Dave Roberts decided to do in order to try to get his lineup in shape. If you're going to go so far as to give a guy his major league start so that you can keep Syndergaard and Gonsolin sort of out of that first series, I think it's pretty clear how important this is to the Dodgers for a lot of reasons. You don't have to even get all into rivalry and last year and big brother, little brother. Like, if those are the kind of moves you're making for any opponent, clearly it matters to your manager.
Okay, see, I actually kind of disagree, because I think that while it does matter to the manager, if the Dodgers lose this series, they get swept, right? It's gonna be a whole thing where you're gonna say to the Padres, this means so much. Look, they're back. They beat them. They beat the Dodgers. They go ahead. They're gonna take over first place. It's a big deal for them. If the Dodgers sweep the series and they just do what they normally do, the thing is gonna be like, everybody in LA is gonna say, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Show it to me in the playoffs. It's too early.
Okay,
I don't care about any of that
listen.
stuff.
I'm not addressing idiot Dodgers fans that want to think about every single season. Hold on. I want to think about every single season series as a reflection on the playoffs. You know why? Because the last playoff series that they played against each other, they didn't even win. So that doesn't even add up in the logic of itself. What I'm saying is that in the standings of right now, in which they are battling for the NL West, hell yeah, this series matters. The Dodgers have looked good. This is the best they've played all season going into it. And so that's a great thing overall in terms of what they are. Couple of the months. Clayton, pitcher of the month, or excuse me.
Hold on, before you get to that, I just want to make a point. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, so I think what the overall point of that is the Dodgers, when we think of things that happen with the Dodgers, it goes into, it doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. You need to show it to me in the postseason. So it doesn't matter whether they win this series or lose this series. It doesn't, overall.
I don't know how much sense that makes for a team that just lost to the Padres in the postseason. Like, I get it. And that conveniently allows you to say the history of the Padres, but that doesn't matter right now.
I'm not talking about the history of the Padres. I'm talking about for the Dodgers themselves, what they do, because most Dodger fans and the Dodger group just in general probably believes that we just need to get into the playoffs. I mean, I know we're not talking so much about playoffs, but it's more so that the importance of a series for the Dodgers means very little, whereas the importance of a series for the Padres probably means a little bit more.
How is that possible if the Dodgers lost to the Padres in the playoffs?
You're talking about last year.
Correct.
Those actually proves more to the point.
Those rosters are as close to each other as they've ever been, meaning by that logic, the Padres are fine right now. It should be more important to the Dodgers fans. The only thing you're relying on is some historical canon. That's exactly what my point is. The Padres look fine. And if you're going to go on basic recent history, I think that this is a little bit more important to the Dodgers. That's exactly what my point is that of the excuse of just saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter until the postseason. Well, check the last one. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here? You know,
because the Padres have never been in this situation. They've never had this type of pressure. Okay. Hold on. They've never had this type of pressure. And if they get swept in this series and they start going back to, like, look, we're in third place, we're in fourth place, the bats haven't really been heating up. Maybe it will at some point, but we're now a month and a half into the season and we're still not just kind of treading water. Yeah, it's a little bit more pressure that goes along them.
But that hasn't happened, Greg. What I'm saying is right now, before these proverbial sweeps either way happen, yes. This is more important to the Dodgers. It is. It obviously is to me. Look at what they did with their lineup. It's not like the Padres are moving things around like that. And to get to the baseball, though, I will say this. This is actually a major, like, it's also important for a lot of reasons, because you have to be able to figure out, like, taking the Padres sort of out of it. If you're thinking about this team as one of the teams that's going to be who you're going up against to try to win the pennant, if they've got their top 3 lined up and you've got their top 3 lined up, you've got to figure out whether or not this is going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a strong matchup situation for them. And I think it's to me, it's a bigger test for the Dodgers, which is why it's more important than I think it is for the Padres, just in terms of whether or not this ramp up that we've seen is going to lead to them being obviously better than a team like San Diego. That's right.
Sure. I think it is going to be, it's important for both teams. I just believe the opposite, that it's more important for the Padres because of where they at in the line, where they are at in the roster or in the standings right now, what it means to them, the pressure that goes along with all of these things, whatever happens in this series. I think it means more to them because the Dodgers will still be right there. The Padres could fall 5.5 back.
But that doesn't, again, I think that all of that makes sense, excusing the fact that they lost to the Padres in the play. You cannot at the same time say that there is more pressure on the Padres in one season to prove something that will eventually matter down the line in the playoffs if they in fact went farther in the purpose of that journey last year than even the Dodgers did. Because otherwise you're just relying on something that is an idea of the franchises. That's what I mean. Like, they've got farther to go to get back to prove something than the Padres do right now as a team.
The Padres haven't shown as much as they really need to, and they've started off the season kind of slow, which is understandable without all their guys there. Yeah. But now that they're starting to get back, and if they fall 5.5 back here, I think it means more to them. They haven't been in this situation before. Absolutely. Yeah, but we can go back and forth as much as we want, but
I get it. But let me just say this last one. They haven't been in this situation before thing is not baseball analysis to me. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that, like, that's part of the reason why the postseason thing changes things a lot, because you have to grow at some point. And if you're just going to say for any team, this is not any team at all. If you're just going to say, well, there's no such thing as progress until the final thing is done. Well, the progress might take more than 1 year. And the progressive step happened last year. So they haven't been here before. Well, this might be the time that they show that they're here before. I think a better question for Dodgers fans is, what happens if you get swept? You know what I mean? Like, that is
sure.
Play, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what's happened, because it's happened to worse teams in terms of the Padres. That's kind of what I was getting at. But
I think you're actually making my point that they need to show it in this series, that it means a lot to them.
They have shown it. Like, that's why they're, you know what I mean? A lot of people already think the Padres are a better team than the Dodgers. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. So if they lose this series, it means more that, like, oh, maybe they're not ready.
And getting swept. I think that's where sometimes, sir, you got to realize that if you're assuming that the team that you're rooting for is going to win, and therefore the team losing to them is catastrophic too, I just don't think that's the case this scenario right now. I think the Padres have a much better idea of who that team is. Just look at how they treated a guy like Tatis, who they're paying $1 bazillion to, but they're sticking his behind in right field. You know what I mean? Because they've got him more than they ever have. So anyway, what I was thinking is that, like, this pitching matchup, I think, is going to be one of the premier pitching matchups that we have. As far as series go this weekend in Major League Baseball. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Clayton's coming off his award. Outman's
coming off his award.
And Josh Hader is coming off his award as well. He's got 9 or 10 saves. He had 9 or 10 saves last month. So it's a monster matchup in that regard. And I think that the fact that it's ending on Sunday Night Baseball tells you everything you want to know. I would make a trip down there with you, Greg, if you were willing.
If I can get down there, I'm absolutely willing to do it. I got to kind of work out some things, but
let me know
if we can.
I will go. Okay,
I will happily go if I can. I'm in it. And by the way, Clinton, is this our first fight? Are we gonna fight for the first time?
Because it's not a fight.
I'm just kidding. This is our first disagreement.
All right. For Greg Bergman, I'm Clinton Yates. This has been Blue Review. We might see you in San Diego. We might not. Have a good weekend.